Welcome back to Global Business Europe. The latest figures show China's producer price index in May fell at the fastest pace in 7 years. The index, which measures the cost of goods at the factory gate, was down 4.6% year-on-year. That's reportedly due to cooling commodity prices and by comparison with last year's elevated prices. In the same period, inflation in China remained subdued. The country's consumer price index rose 0.2% year-on-year. Well, Xiaolin Chen is head of international at the investment firm KraneShares, and she joins us now. Thank you very much indeed. Good to see you. So we're seeing rising inflation rates or interest rates and inflation squeezing demand in the United States and here in Europe. But in China, by contrast, it faces a decline in producer prices. What's behind that trend?
Thank you for having me. It's nice to see you again. I think China is very much in a different cycle when you look at the rest of the developed market or even the emerging market countries, as the country was really get out of the or returned to fully reopen from late last year after a very strict nearly 3 years of lockdown of COVID. It clearly has impacted the expectations of when the country will fully return to a full production capacity as a global manufacturing hub, as well as, you name a few, that the global uncertainties that investors have or been questioning of if and when some of the key developed markets or developed countries may enter into a recession. Hence, all these factors actually dragged on the export order on the country. Obviously, China is easing, but the easing policy introduced thus far has been incremental, if not very targeted measures, because of the past experience they have learned from an over-leveraged economy can also introduce issues down the road. Rightly or wrongly, that is the pace that the Chinese policymaker feels comfortable at the moment in how and where they introduce the easing policy to support the economy.
And how does a fall in producer prices reflect the current state of the Chinese economy, and are there broader implications?
I think today's weak press prints again speaks to the recent concerns about Chinese economy's recovery, particularly on slowing domestic demand. The underlying details of today's prints really reveals, the weakness in CPI continue to be reflected by more of the volatile components such as food and fuel. Whole CPI also aged down amid some waning impact from the Labor Day holidays. Meanwhile, the PPI from a high base, a lower global commodity prices, and ongoing weakness in the areas such as property, sector, and industrial activities are all the areas to blame. On the whole, I think the muted inflation environment definitely provides actually a very favorable backdrop for Chinese policymakers to roll out more policy support down the road.
Xiaolin Chen from KraneShares, thank you very much indeed for your insights. Much appreciated.